everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated reads of 2024. These are going to be the books that are coming out next year. I'm going to do a separate video for books that I'm going to read that might already be out. These are just like new releases and books that I'm excited about that I've been waiting for, or I just saw maybe like a month ago and I was like, yes please, I want to read that. As per usual, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave and let's get into the video. Okay, we're gonna start with a bang because I like Taylor Swift. She was my #1 artist in my Spotify Wrapped. I went to the Eras tour. I love all of her songs. Not all of them, but most of them. But I feel like because I'm an active member of the army, like the BTS army, I know what it's like to be an invested fan, and I don't like to call myself a Swiftie because I'm not as invested in her life or like into her world as I am with BTS. Like you can literally ask me anything about BTS and I will be able to answer. Taylor Swift, I am a huge fan of her music, but I'm not like involved in her fandom or anything like that. With that being said, our first book is The Breakup Tour. It says, a rising star musician has a second chance at love with an old flame she remembers all too well in this Sunni romance from acclaimed authors of The Roughest Draft. I did read The Roughest Draft and I did like it. I wasn't like obsessed with it, but I did like it. Riley went from a promising singer-songwriter to a superstar overnight, thanks to her breakup song, concept album, and his unforgettable lead single. When Riley's ex-husband claims the hit song is about him, she does something she hasn't in 10 years and calls Max, her college boyfriend, and the real inspiration for the song of the summer. Max hasn't spoken to Riley since the relationship ended. He's content with managing the retirement home his family owns, but it's not the life he dreamed of, filled with music. When Riley asks him to go public as her songwriting muse, he agrees on one condition: he'll join her in her band on tour. As they perform across the country, Max and Riley start to realize that while they hit some wrong notes in the past, their future could hold incredible things, and their rekindled relationship will either last forever or go down in flames. If this wasn't inspired by Taylor Swift, I don't know if I will be as excited, you know what I mean? But the fact that like it's inspired after her, I cannot wait to see like all the references, and like I feel like this book came in like good for them. I feel like this is the perfect time to release a book like this. All right, the next book is All This Twisted Glory, and that is the third book in this series. I love this series. This is from the same author that wrote the Shatter Me series, which is a series that I don't want to read. Like, I know it's very hyped, and I mean, if you think I should read it, leave it down in the comments and convince me, because I feel like a lot of people have said that it is too YA, and sometimes I feel like that really gets to me. Like if a book feels too YA, I don't like it. But anyways, this book series I was obsessed with. I actually like this book a lot more than this one, but I really enjoyed this one. I just feel like this is like Akatar, where you think like the love interest is one person, and then in the second book somebody comes in with a morally gray personality and you're like, oh, never mind, I really don't ship them together like the original couple. So I love that. I love when books do that. Just don't make the first love interest perfect, because if you make him perfect, then I'm not gonna root for the second one, you know what I mean? But I love me a morally gray like hero, and that's what we got. She is actually also forced in a marriage with a morally gray character, so we also have like, you know, forced proximity. Will that be considered forced proximity? I think so, right? Then we have one that, let me show you. This was my favorite series of 2022. I read this in 2022. We got The Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior. This is by Su Lin Tan. And if you guys don't know, I mean, if you guys cannot tell, I am obsessed with the moon. I already have like 3 tattoos with moons in them, and I'm not gonna stop. A lot of people did not like this series because it was quote unquote very tropey, but I love me a tropey book, and this whole world is like based on the moon. I mean, it's Daughter of the Moon Goddess, so it's very like celestial. It's actually called the Celestial Kingdom series. I love this world. I love this story. I love these characters. I mean, I don't like the main character, like the first one. It's the same thing, kind of like you think she's gonna go with someone and then someone else comes out of nowhere and sweeps her off her feet. That's kind of like the same vibes and like the same type of love triangle. You definitely know who she's gonna be. I'm gonna take that back. I feel like it speaks my soul. I feel like if I had the chance or the creativity to create a world and be able to write, this is the type of world I would write about, because this is just beautiful. So we're gonna get not necessarily a third book in the series, because this is definitely a duology. It ends in the second book, but we're gonna get a book called The Tales of the Celestial Kingdom, and I have no idea what it's about. I'm gonna be honest with you. It says Tales from the Celestial Kingdom collects 9 spellbinding stories, so basically short stories from this world. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? When I finished this, I felt, you know, when like you grieve a book, like you actually go through the phases of grief. This is a series that made me go through that. Like I genuinely felt like heartbroken to have finished the series, and I am so excited that she came out with the third book, even if it's just like short stories about the world. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. This book ends in a way that it leaves you wondering what happened next. You know what I mean? And a lot of people might not like that. I'm okay, I'm gonna be honest. I did not like that. I did not like that when I read it. I did want to see like what happened, but the epilogue does enough of a good job to kind of like explain and give you an idea of what happened after the book ended. I cannot say why I'm so excited about knowing what happened after it ended, because it is a spoiler. Like it will literally spoil the whole freaking series for you. But there was a chance for like a new story, and I don't see where else the plot can go. So like I feel like short stories is like the best way to kind of like add that information that we all wanted. You know what I mean? Like what happened after, you know, they saw each other. And I just feel like it's perfect to go about it with short stories, because another book would have been a little bit of a reach, you know what I mean? It would have been a little bit too long, and I don't know what else she could have added. We just wanted like a little bit of a epilogue, you know what I mean? And we did get the epilogue, but it wasn't like detailed, you know what I mean? So I am hoping that we get more of what happened after the series in this book. I am so excited. And the cover. Can we talk about the cover? Then we have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This is the second book. I don't know if it's the same series, but it is given the same energy, and it is the same author from The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which is the book that I read in October this year, and I was obsessed. It gave House on the Cerulean Sea, but better, in my opinion. Like you got the little like newfound family and kids and finding love like in somewhere unexpected, and it was just really, really good. So I'm excited about this one. As you guys can tell, I don't like knowing a lot about books before I go into them. I want to be surprised about them, so I try to not look at that many, you know, reviews or details. So if I do like a brief summary of each of them, that's why. All right, then we have Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I did a video called Bookish Anti-Haul or something like that. I will link it up in the cards, but these are books or like authors that I refuse to read, and at the end I did a little segment where I talked about authors that were like this close to making it, you know what I mean? And Emily Henry was one of them, and Happy Place was the one book that was going to determine whether I was going to DNF her for life, and I didn't. I actually enjoyed Happy Place compared to her other books. This one is basically about a couple. I don't know if they're married or if they're engaged, but basically when they were together, like in a serious relationship, not just boyfriend and girlfriend, which that's still serious, okay? I know that in the internet nowadays you have to clarify, because if not, people are like, boyfriend and girlfriends are also serious. Like, we know that. That's not what we're talking about. He basically admits that he's still in love with his ex, who is engaged. And basically, I guess they get back together. So, like, both couples break up, and then the people that they broke up with end up becoming roommates. So can you imagine that? Like, you're literally engaged to someone, and then they say, hey, joke's on you, I'm still like in love with my high school freaking sweetheart, and they dump you for her, but then she's also engaged, and then you end up being roommates with your ex-fiance's or ex-husband's new girlfriend's ex-fiance. It's confusing. It's not that confusing, but it's hard to kind of like explain it. So you get what I'm saying. But it's all just for show, of course. Are they gonna be fake dating? The roommates mainly avoid one another until one day, while drowning their sorrows, they form a tenuous friendship and a plan. If said plan also involves posting deliberately misleading photos of their summer adventures together, well, who could blame them? But it's all for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne will actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, right? Yes, yes, I'm here for the mess. I'm here for the mess. I just hope it lives to the hype, you know? Okay, then we have Play Along, and this one is the fourth book in the Windy City series, and I love the first two. I heard that this one is not as good, but I don't care, you know what I mean? I feel like Liz Tomforty or Tomforte, she put something, she put some kind of like witchcraft into these books because they always hit the spot for me, always. I cannot get enough of them. I finished them in like a day. I'm obsessed with her writing and her stories, and especially her male characters. I feel like her male characters are just always perfection. Like, they might have their little like flaws, you know what I mean, but like for the most part I feel like they're very like open-minded and mature and not misogynist, you know what I mean. There's not that many details as to who this story is about, but if it's not Rio's, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be upset because, like I said in my The Right Mate review, I want a book with Rio in it because he deserves the world. He deserves the world. He's like the best one. Is my favorite one. I don't know if we're gonna get it because every book is about a different sport. So what if we get football? I don't like football. Like, the first one was hockey, the second one was NBA, the third one, which is that one caught up, is baseball. We're missing football, unfortunately. So it might not be Rio, because Rio is a hockey player. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't think she's gonna make the fourth book about a hockey player again. But like, come on, girl, listen to your audience. I know I'm not the only one who wants a book about Rio. All right, then we have Emily Wilde's Map of Other Lands. As you guys can see, I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies up there. I have another one in the corner because it's my favorite cover of all time, but I DNF'd it. I DNF'd it. I did not even finish it. I hated it, to be honest with you. I just have it for the cover. So this one is coming out in January. So obviously I am gonna get it because this is another cover that I'm obsessed with. So I don't even care if I like it or not. I'm gonna display that shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I want it just for the cover, and hopefully I will like this story. Then we have A Fragile Enchantment, and this one is basically, it's kind of like historical, and is the love story between a prince. I think he's a prince. Yeah, it's a royal wedding, and she is the dressmaker for the prince, and they have insane chemistry, and there's like a columnist that writes about that chemistry, so you know the gossip is going on, and you know what I'm talking about, like the historical, like Bridgerton type of vibes that like these societies actually really did care about reputation and gossip and all that. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it says that it's a young adult fantasy, so I don't know how much I'm gonna like it, but I'm here for a little bit of a forbidden love, especially if it's like forbidden because of class. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. Okay, then I have If Only I Had Told Her. This one I don't know much about, but I know that it's forbidden love, and it is like childhood crush. So kind of like in The Summer I Turned Pretty, where like the moms were best friends and like the kids, you know, grew up together, that kind of dynamic. It says Finn has always loved Autumn. She's not just the girl next door or his mother's best friend's daughter. She is his everything, but she's not his girlfriend. That's Sylvie, so he already has a girlfriend, and Finn will never hurt her. So there's no way Autumn could know how he truly feels. Jack, Finn's best friend, isn't so sure. He's seen Finn and Autumn together. How could she not know? And how is he supposed to support and protect Finn when heartache seems inevitable? Autumn surrounds herself with books and wants to write her own destiny, but one doesn't always get a new chapter, and fate can be cruel to those in love. Told through 3 different perspectives. Oh my gosh, are we gonna get like Finn and then Autumn and then Jack? That's crazy. That's crazy. What if Jack ends up falling for Autumn? See? I know there was a reason why I put this book in my 2024 TBR. Then I have another one that I also don't know much about. It's called I Hope This Doesn't Find You. But I did hear that it's kind of like to all the boys I've loved before, where she writes letters and then they get sent when she didn't want to. But instead of being love letters, it's basically like this girl who is like basically like the ultimate people pleaser. Like, she's valedictorian, she's like perfect, she is doing everything to be like the best, you know what I mean? And instead of speaking up for herself, she just like writes a letter to let out her anger, you know what I mean, to like let it out. And these letters that she's writing get sent. I am excited to see kind of like a similar take, but like in a negative way. Because to all the boys I've loved before was kind of like, if that happened to you, you just want to like die. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. If your hate letters get sent, that can bring like a lot of drama. Not necessarily like, oh, hide me. You know what I mean? It's more like people are going to come up to you and they're going to confront you. You know what I mean? And also, if she's valedictorian, I feel like she probably is perfect in the eyes of everyone, including teachers. And I wonder, like, if she wrote, what if she writes like a letter about a teacher and the teacher gets it? That's messy. So obviously I'm super excited about this one. I wonder if, is the author Korean? No, it is a Chinese author, Anne Leong. Then we have ASAP. This one is by Axie O, which is the one who wrote XOXO, which I already read, and I did not like it because I feel like, not that, okay. I don't want to say that I dream about dating a freaking K-pop artist, because to be honest with you, I don't think I could do with the fame. Like, I don't like the spotlight. Even this channel, like, I want to grow my audience, obviously, but like, I low-key don't want a lot of subscribers. Like, I don't want to hit like 1 million subscribers. I feel like the way I'm set up, I cannot deal with that much attention. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I would be able to like date a celebrity. So in XOXO, it was supposed to be like a K-pop artist dating like a no one, basically, like a random girl. And it bothered me that in school, that's what I mean, like it was too YA. It's not necessarily like the fact that there's no spice, because I honestly don't need spice in a book for it to be good. It was more the fact that they did act immature. You know what I mean? Like in school, he will pretend like he didn't know her. Absolutely not. So in this one, oh, it says that she doesn't want a life forever in the spotlight. Same girl. Same. I just want people to talk about my books with. You know what I mean? I don't need the fame. I don't need the money. I just want, okay, I don't want to say that because I don't want to act like I will never take a sponsorship, but I am not here for sponsorships, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to talk about my books. I'm not trying to be famous, you know? The wealthy daughter of a K-pop company owner and Nathaniel, her K-pop star ex-boyfriend, in a swoony second chance love story. Oh, so it is a K-pop romance. I love them. I love K-pop so much. I feel like these type of stories, it's like, okay, so if you are obviously into K-pop, I'm sure you have seen videos about what it's like to date in Korea, and it honestly sounds like a nightmare. So I try to like pretend like I don't know that when I read these books, but that sounds so nice. Like the fact that like she has access to like K-pop artists because she's like the daughter of the owner of the company, and they can see her as equal and like give her a chance. Like, girl, you are so lucky. And look at that cover with the moon. I love it. I love it. Then we have An Education in Malice. It says that it is a dark academia tale of blood secrets from Sunday Times bestselling author, blah, 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 blah. Oh! This one is from the same author as A Diary of Blood, which is a very, very hype book. I have to read that, so that is definitely going to be in my 2024 TBR. I have to, at least before I read this one. The genres are fantasy, horror, vampires, gothic, lesbian, romance. Please, please. I love that. Dark academia, vampires, a teacher trying to eat you, lesbian romance, academic rivals. Yes, 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 yes. Please, please. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Oh, 2024 is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Then we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If you guys don't know, Abby Jimenez is one of my favorite romance authors. It depends on my mood. Like if I want like a spicy romance, I will probably go for Ana Huang. I feel like she does a very good balance of both. But if I want like a true like romantic, like Sunni, like representation of like different types of like people, slow burn, and like just everything, like an actual genuine like romance that I will like feel comfortable like recommending it to anyone, including my mom. Like I don't know if I would recommend Ana Huang to my mom, you know what I mean? But I feel like Abby Jimenez has like the best romance writing, like in my opinion, and she does a really good job at bringing awareness to things that people normally go through that does affect relationships. Like in this one, we have infertility. In this one, I think she has a condition that she is gonna die early, like young. This one wasn't really a representation. It was more like age gap and like city versus country, and a girl who basically has spent her whole life pleasing her dad and doing the opposite of what she wants just so that she can please her dad. And in this one, we got the best anxiety representation. So I feel like all of those things does affect like your relationships, and I feel like she's one of the best authors to write about different kinds of people. You know what I mean? That's why she's like front and center in my romance shelf, because she's definitely one of my favorite romance authors. In this one, we follow two people who basically have a curse where they never make it, I think, to the second date. And because, so I think he talked about it on Reddit, and there he found someone in his DMs saying that she basically has the same thing. So they're gonna date each other so that they can kind of like cancel out their curses. If the people you go for never ask for a second date, and the people you go for also never ask for a second date, then they should date each other. You know what I mean? So it cancels out because they know they're gonna make it to the second date. So I guess like they spend like the whole summer somewhere else, like a little vacation type of thing. And I think he is in charge of his siblings. Yeah, so Emma has a toxic mother who shows up, and Justin has to assume guardianship of his three siblings. So yeah, I'm excited about this one, honestly. Like, I feel like Abby Jimenez is just the queen, and I am down to read anything she puts out. Okay, then we have Late Bloomer. So this one we follow a girl who basically, she has like a lot of money, and she's tired of people asking for like hands out, so she ends up spending her money on a flower farm. And when she gets there, there is another girl there saying that the farm belongs to her. I guess like they sold it against her will, and basically they get to an agreement to cohabit, like co-own, not co-own. I don't think she's gonna like just give out the farm that she just bought for free, but she kind of like let her stay in the farm with her, and basically, you know, close proximity again, and enemies to lovers. And I don't know, I just have a good feeling about this book. I feel like it's gonna be great. Then we have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren were authors that I also said I was gonna DNF in 2023 if I didn't like the next release, and they released The True Love Experiment, which wasn't necessarily like the best romance I have ever read, but it is like, if you're an ARMY and you like BTS, you're gonna love this book. If you also like The Bachelor, you're gonna love this book. I feel like the ending of this book was not for everyone. Like, I feel like if you have never felt the anticipation of a Bachelor season finale, like, you know, the interview where like Chris Harrison used to sit with like the finalists and like the new Bachelor, and like normally that's where they announce the new Bachelorette and all that. I feel like if you have never felt that, like, oh my gosh, it's about to start, what's gonna happen, like, you will not understand the ending. Not understand, but like enjoy the ending. You're not gonna appreciate it the way that like Bachelor Nation does. You know what I mean? And it was also a shit show. I think I did say that in my review. If what happened in this finale happened in real life Bachelor Nation would have lost their shit. Like, that would have been like non-stop talked about it like for months. I feel like nobody would have ever gotten over it. Imagine like Ari, it's not the same situation as Ari, but like, you know how like when Ari's finale happened, it was like a big deal. That's kind of like, I feel like the finale in this book is like. They also go to a BTS concert, and she introduces him to like a new group, which is clearly BTS, because they have mentioned that they're ARMY. Like, even in the acknowledgements, they say Fizzy and Stevie's favorite band isn't officially BTS, but the euphoric joy they bring people was absolutely inspired by them. Then they mention the BTS members, and they say, you inspire us to love better, to be kinder, to collaborate with passion, and to grow as individuals. Thank you for your hard work, for your dedication to each other, and for sharing your boundless talent with the world. BTS and ARMY might be apart for a little while, but we will always be here. ARMY bombs ready for whatever comes next. I love them. I love them. So obviously, like they said, it was inspired by BTS. So that's why I think I have a special place in my heart for this book. I can see how not everyone's gonna love it, but if you do like those two things, like BTS and The Bachelor, you're gonna love it. So as I was saying, in my anti-haul, I did say that Christina Lauren was one of those, you know, authors that I was gonna DNF for life, because I didn't like their last two releases, and I was kind of like upset about wasting my time reading their books. But they released that one, and it was like the perfect one to be like, you thought you were gonna DNF us for life? You thought. So here we are with a new book, and it's called The Paradise Problem. And in this one, we have the typical, you need to be married to get like an inheritance, and then you also have like their ex-girlfriend, so it's like a second chance romance, but they were married. So basically like they were married, right? And then they divorced, but I guess they didn't file it, but they think that they are divorced. And then years later, one of them needs to be married to get an inheritance, and then they go to the other person to be like, hey, when I get married again so that I can get this money. I'm assuming that they never got divorced because at the beginning of the synopsis it says she also thought she'd signed divorce papers when the graduation caps were tossed, and they both went their merry ways. So she thought they were divorced. So that was enough, honestly. That was enough for me to want to read it. Like the fact that they think they're divorced, I cannot wait to see how they find out that they're not divorced. All right, then we have Daydream by Hannah Grace. That is the Maple Hills #3. So we have Icebreaker and we have Wildfire. These two books were amazing. I really enjoyed it. I know that some people find them overhyped. This one I loved. This one was like a 5 stars for me. I have a whole video about why I loved it, so you guys can check that out if you want. I still like this one as well. I just didn't like Stassi as much as I should have, I guess. And this one did hit all the spots for me. So obviously I'm excited about the third one. And the third one is so cute. Like, let me talk about this cover. The books in the back. So in this one we follow a girl that she has basically like a hockey player who's like, I think he's struggling with school, and then the girl has like a book club and he crashes into the book club and a romance like develops from there. I think she's like also trying to write a novel, and I don't know, I'm assuming like they're gonna try to like help each other and grow closer because of that. At this point, because we're in book 3 of the series, I truly don't care. I truly don't care what it's about. Like, I just want to read it. I love everything this author has put out, so obviously I am down. I'm down. I don't even need to know what it's about. Okay, books that I know nothing about but I want to read. I have Wisteria, which is the 3rd book in the Belladonna series. I just finished reading Belladonna yesterday, I think. Yesterday morning. Loved it. Loved it. Cannot wait to get into Foxglove. I already have it borrowed from the library, so I am definitely going to read it this month. This one, I have no idea what it's about because I don't want to read it. Like, I don't want to spoil myself, you know what I mean? Just in case, because I have not read Foxglove yet. But it is coming out in August, so I am excited about it. And this cover, I feel like this is definitely... I feel like they're all really pretty. I can't choose. I was going to say this one was my favorite, but now that I think about it, I kind of like them all the same. Like, they're all unique in their own way, and I cannot choose. Then we have The Shortlist, which is the next Elena Armas book. I, again, have no idea what it's about. It doesn't even say it, and it says that it comes out August 2024. And I DNF'd The Long Game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it sucked. Like, I didn't even finish it. So I am still gonna read this because obviously I love the Spanish Love Deception. I love the American Roommate Experiment. So I am still willing to give Elena Armas another try or another chance. But we still don't know what it's about. So I wanted to mention it so you guys can put it in your calendars if you're excited. And then another one that I also don't want to know what it's about, but it is basically The House on the Cerulean Sea, like the same series. It's called Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and it is basically like the next book in this series. I didn't even know that it was going to be a series, so I'm excited about that one. We also have King of Sloth, which I still have not read King of Greed, but again, love Anna Huang. I have loved most of her books, and I feel like she could do no wrong in my eyes, so I am still excited about it, even though I don't know what the heck it's about. We also have The Prisoner's Throne, which is the 2nd book in the Stolen Heir duology. So this is the last book in the series, so I am definitely going to read it. I did not love Stolen Heir the way I thought I was because I love the Folklore series. And I feel like if it was a trilogy, I might have DNF'd the series, but because there's only like 1 book left, then I'm willing to put up with it. And I feel like the last book in series is always like really good. That's where you get all the action, you know what I mean? That's where you get like all the like, you know, where all the plot comes together and it gets solved. So even though I did not like Stolen Heir, I am still gonna read this one. I'm just not like as excited as I was for Stolen Heir, you know? Those are all the anticipated releases of 2024. I cannot wait to get all of them. I'm just so excited. I feel like the new year always makes me so excited for new challenges. Talking about challenges, I did the reading challenge, the Pop Sugar one. I almost completed it. I did miss. There's like the normal part and then there's like the advanced part. And the regular part, I missed 5. but I did do 6 of the advanced ones. So I'm kind of like using those, you know what I mean, to get my points back and say that I finished it. I wasn't necessarily like actively trying to complete this. I would just read whatever I wanted, and then I will go to this and kind of like see if I could fit whatever I read into one of the categories. But I feel like this year I might try a little bit harder to complete it, you know? So yeah, I hope you guys got some ideas, some new books that you probably were not aware of. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, as per usual, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one.